Got it. So you saw the title, you decided to click, and I'm giving you a warning right now that your mental health will not be the same after this, and you're still watching. I don't know what to tell you, but good luck. Welcome back to another video. I have gathered many disturbing videos for us to watch. Towards the end, it gets way darker, believe me.
Thailand shut down its most famous and most popular beach for 4 years straight, and what came back is unreal.
In those crowds, it felt a lot less like heaven. So the authorities shut it down.
So basically, there's a beach in Thailand that's called Maya Bay, and it became the most famous beach on Earth after Leonardo DiCaprio filmed a movie there in 2000. And within just a few years, 6,000 tourists were showing up every single day on a beach that's only 15 meters wide. And then due to all the pollution that people were causing on the beach, by 2018, over 80% of all coral in this area was gone. So basically, Thailand went and shut it down completely, so no tourists, no people, no boats at all, and the plan was only 4 months at first. But whenever scientists were actually able to sit back and analyze all of the real damage that was caused, they expanded it to 4 years. And they gave up $300 million of tourism to shut it down. Within just 3 months of time, blacktip reef sharks actually came back to the area, and not only that, but they started breeding. And then scientists were able to replant over 30,000 coral fragments by hand to try to bring the area back faster. Fish populations were able to explode by 200%, and the water went crystal clear. They gave nature 4 years of silence, and it gave back.
An Air India flight bound for Canada had to turn around 4 hours after takeoff when they realized they sent the wrong aircraft. On Thursday, Air India Flight 185 departed Delhi for Vancouver on a 777-200LR. But there was only one problem. Air India is approved to fly the 777-300ER into Canadian airspace, but not the 200LR. So the flight continued normally for about 4 hours, flying east and entering Chinese airspace near Kunming. But then the mistake was discovered mid-flight. The plane was then forced to turn around after spending nearly 8 hours in the air.
Anyone else remember Skechers having a T in it?
Hey, let me know if I'm tripping or not, okay? I think this is some sort of Mandela effect. And the reason why I'm saying that, didn't the word Skechers had a T in it?
I feel like
I remember
it did.
when I was a kid, seeing a T in the word Skechers. Am I
Right
tripping,
behind the
man?
C.
I know they do this stuff all the time to mess with us, but didn't Skechers have a T? Comment below if this is true or
Weird.
not. I need to know, man.
You remember seeing the video the other day, the Atlanta airport? This is the Houston airport today, where the TSA lines have resulted in a 150-minute wait time, and it snaked all the way around to the baggage claim. And if
It's
you're
like
just
going on a
normally
Disney
normal
ride.
thinking, not really paying attention to what's going on in the world right now, you'd be saying, well, okay, they're going to turn the government partial shutdown back on, and then everything's going to go back to normal. What if I told you we're in the middle of something right now with what's kicking off in the Middle East and what's happening here, that there's going to be a new normal, another new normal from the last new normal we saw in 2020. They're calling it Schmovid 2.0. Airports closing all over the place because of fuel in Asia, and then over here, they're not functioning properly because of the shutdown. Did you know, by the way, that there's a bit of a plan or or internet rumor, let's call it, that eventually air travel will be reserved for, well, let's just say, a club of people which me and you are not in. And it's going to be tied to the new IDs they're trying to make, the digital one, where there's only a certain amount of resources you're allowed to use. This is when there's going to be a new economy. This is the plan, dude. It's coming around the corner, 2030. I don't know how much of this is an accident. Philippines, Vietnam, fuel shortages, India, natural gas, the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Every minute that thing is closed, it's going to be worse and worse. But do not fear, because they want you in fear. I know you may be thinking, well, that was kind of
Interesting.
scary, what you just said. Well,
That's weird.
you can choose to be scared, but choose to not be scared, because whatever it is, put on the armor of God and you'll be all right. And don't take the mark, because that's coming. Now, we're on the cusp of something massive that is set to change the way society functions, by the way. That's the inside scoop, what people are saying, what's around the corner, and what might be planned. And I think there's never been a more important time in human history to be of sound mind and sound body. We know there's chemicals and toxins in the food and water supply which do weaken and alter our state of consciousness. And all that can be detoxified and rejuvenated. Okay, hold on a second. Did you guys hear that Drake partnered with McDonald's to
What?
launch a new kind of limited time meal that's he had something to do with, apparently. And it just so happens it's called the Afters meal, and it has an owl on it. And they have Night Sprite. Now, the theme is supposed to be where night owls land. That's why there's an owl there. It's like the nighttime meal. Go have
OVO.
a McDonald's GMO, upside down, never decomposes, totally toxic meal after hours, I guess. But what it reminds me of is the other 40-foot stone owl which represents the ancient deity Moloch, which I'm not going to tell you what that deity is associated with, but it is very strange. And I can't help but think that there are some forces out there, some good and some evil, that are upon us right now. Do not eat McDonald's, by the way.
It's been 18 days since we last saw Benjamin Netanyahu live, and he's missed every daily press conference since then. He's also missed every security cabinet meeting since the war started. These are supposed to be led by him. And instead, all we're getting is unknown photos taken by unknown people posted on his social media. And who could forget the other day the cafe video where it proved he was alive, even though multiple things in the video such as this look AI. Look at the pocket just teleport. And of course, the pre-recorded press conference he gave the other day, he has 6 fingers on his right hand. And there's also the obviously AI photos of him greeting the Air Force. They're not even trying anymore. The weirdest part the other day in the video they posted to prove he's alive, it looks nothing like him. And every AI test came back and said 97%. Also, in the middle of war, what's he doing in a cafe in Jerusalem in the hills? If he had to make a video in a cafe to prove that he's alive, why won't he just hold a press conference like everyone else is? Trump speaks daily to the media. The Iranian president was walking in streets the other day in front of cameras. The only images we've gotten are from Netanyahu's office.
For the first time in history, an F-35 has been shot down, and here's how the Iranians did it. So the Iranians used a $10,000 K missile to take down a $100 million fighter jet, which is apparently the best in the world. They were able to track it down using this Chinese radar, which Western media claim to have been destroyed. So this thing uses low-frequency radar, which detects generally where the jet is, and this allows this cheap missile to use semi-active radar homing to lock onto the F-35 and take it down. And this fighter jet is so good that America doesn't even sell it to most of its allies. And the pilot didn't even see it coming because there were no flares or even basic...
I know y'all seen this video that went viral of this guy who looks just like Jeffrey Epstein driving a convertible in Florida. Well, apparently this isn't Jeffrey Epstein, it's Palm Beach Pete. Or at least that's what this guy's saying. A guy that was filmed that looks just like Epstein made a video. He's got social media now and everything. And he's saying he's not Jeffrey Epstein, he's Palm Beach Pete. He also went on a podcast and he's won like gold medals in tennis, but he won't say his real name. I just want to say, look at their ears real quick. Look at their ears. Palm Beach Pete and Epstein's ears. Now, ears are a lot like a fingerprint. Not one is the exact same, but theirs look a lot alike. And Mr. Pete put out another video where he's talking, and his teeth look a lot like Epstein's teeth above. But here's what everybody's talking about, is their voices. Here's Epstein.
It's compressed onto your iPhone. So what does compression mean? I'm taking lots of information, and I'm cutting it into lots of pieces and squishing it together.
Now, here's Palm Beach Pete's voice.
And my video went viral because some dude randomly filmed me while I was driving on I-95, unbeknownst to me. And the next thing I know, I'm a viral sensation. I had my phone down for about 4 hours, and didn't know my phone was blowing up with all the...
Now, do remember that the video of Epstein, he has a mic, he has a sound crew, all that. And Pete's is taken on his cell phone driving down the road. What do you guys think? Do you think Palm Beach Pete is telling the truth and he's not Epstein? That's even the name on his social medias, is not Epstein. Or what do you think? Because in my honest opinion, the Epstein files were just a slap in our faces, letting us know that all this stuff was real, everything that we thought was going on was actually going on, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it, and none of these people are being charged for it. So why wouldn't they play?
What the hell did I just watch? I'm still trying to wrap my head around this documentary and how something like this even happens. If you have trust issues with people already, this documentary is going to make it worse. You can now add fear of somebody tricking you into murdering a world leader. In 2017, 2 girls, one from Indonesia and the other from Vietnam, thought they were being hired for a prank company. Like those videos you see in waiting rooms of people pulling weird pranks on other people. If you love documentaries, hit follow because I post daily and you'll always have something to watch. They were being coached to perform these different pranks, one of which was running up behind somebody in an airport and shoving something in their face. Little did they know that they were being trained to assassinate Kim Jong-un's half-brother. One moment they think that they're pranking people on YouTube, and the next moment they're assassinating a world leader. Not really world leader. Scary family, though. You can't make this shit up. Let me know what you think about this
movie that I think will win Best Picture this year. One battle after another. You know what it's about?
What is that?
Revolutions. Why did it come out of the Oscars this year to win?
There's a revolution going on right now.
Who's in it? Leonardo DiCaprio, bro. And it's so interesting that the whole theme of that movie is revolutionaries. It's revolution. And it sounds crazy to say this. The ideas of there's more of us than them. It's been told so many different ways, so many movies too. Hunger Games comes out and it's all about revolution. I think it's all for us to get excited and expel energy. That way, when it comes to the real we're gassed. We're gassed.
No, we can't fight.
Yo, that's war tactics, man. What if they purposely put out those?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know?
A man just got detained for breaking into Area 51 at nighttime, and he told officers that he is a NASA contractor investigating a time anomaly. So this is obviously insane, but this newly released body cam footage is showing a man being detained by security after driving into a restricted zone near Area 51 in the middle of the night. And what he told officers is genuinely one of the wildest things ever caught on camera. Whenever they asked why he was there, the man claimed that he was a NASA contractor and said that he drove to the base because of a time dilation anomaly. Dude, he said it completely calmly like he was giving a status report. He wasn't panicked or confused at all. He literally just straight up said, I'm here because of a time dilation anomaly.
Something about time travel or...
Not travel. Dilate. It's experiencing this time multiple times.
Okay. Now, to be 100% clear, none of this has even been verified yet because there is no confirmation that he actually works for NASA, and a time dilation anomaly is obviously a wild statement. The footage is 100% completely real, the body cam is real, and the way that this man speaks is what's making it go viral right now because he doesn't sound like someone that's making things up. So the question is, was this guy out of his mind, or does he know something that—
LeBron James was spotted carrying a purse, a Birkin to be exact, and people have a lot of different thoughts on it. Because this isn't the first time that he's carried a purse. It looks like he's carried a purse and also has worn a skirt with it. And fans are going wild because these photos are circulating, but these are past photos that we haven't seen before. I love this bag. I love the size of it. I feel like maybe it's a merce, like a man purse. But we know he has fashion, especially when it comes to bags. This brand is really popular. He got Louis here. But he doesn't only carry big purses, he carries small purses as well. So you would think that maybe he has a big purse to carry his basketball stuff, maybe some clothes, but he carries small purses as well. Like, I don't know what's fitting in this purse other than maybe a phone and some tissues, but we've seen other celebrities carry around Birkins as well, big ones where it's like, okay, reasonable because they have to carry a lot of stuff. Maybe I'm just old school or maybe I'm just a millennial, but seeing men carry purses blows my mind, especially small purses mainly. But I'm like, LeBron James, we need maybe a Vogue tour of your closet of the purses you have, because it's looking like it's giving you have a lot of Birkins. It's giving you're an elite customer, and a happy one at that. Am I just late seeing these photos, or is this news to—
The video I just showed you allegedly depicts the death of this man, Hugo Figueroa. Hugo was the nephew of famous Mexican singer Joan Sebastian, and Hugo was a rising name in the music industry in Mexico. About a year ago, when Hugo was traveling in Mexico, he was suddenly approached by 7 armed men in a place called Plaza de Toros, or La Aurora. Now, allegedly, the men that kidnapped Hugo were from the Los Viagras cartel, and it's been suspected that Hugo himself had ties to their rival cartel, the CJNG. There's more video that was released of Hugo's abduction that's simply too disturbing to show on TikTok, where masked men tell him you're not at home anymore, don't mess with the people of the hills, and they keep telling him to shut up and threatening him. Shortly afterwards, Hugo's dead body was found on the side of the road in an area close by. It's unknown exactly what Hugo was killed for, but this is just yet another reason why, if you already don't understand why, you do not mess with the Mexican cartels. And if you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to my podcast, Murder in America, that I co-host with my wife, Courtney. It's available on all streaming platforms.
Did you hear that last week they finally ran out of tricks to do on skateboards, and so now they're switching it up and they're doing tricks to fights, and so you can see them battle warrioring here, and I think it's kind of cool. So here he does a flip turn spin, lands it, and then he immediately gets into a fight, and so it's kind of like UFC mixed in with skateboarding. I'm curious if you think this is the right move, direction that skateboarders moving towards, or do you disagree with it?
Scientists have now officially discovered that a single tea bag releases 11.6 billion plastic particles into your cup.
What we found was that there are billions of micro and nano particles of plastics coming out of the tea bag.
So basically, these scientists just tested what happens whenever you steep a plastic tea bag in hot water at normal brewing temperature. They actually removed the tea leaves so that they wouldn't interfere with the project, and they heated the empty bag and then put the water in an electron microscope. One bag, one cup, they found 11.6 billion microplastics and 3.1 billion nanoplastics. That is nearly 15 billion particles from a single cup of tea. UK, are you okay? An official review that was published in Food Chemistry found that even bags labeled cellulose or biodegradable still release significant amounts. They found that many of the standard paper-looking bags are sealed with a heat-resistant plastic that holds the seams together in hot water, so whenever water boils it, it releases. The math is mathin'. Now this is the part that most people don't think about because nanoplastics are small enough to pass through your intestinal wall and enter your bloodstream. That's why microplastics are a problem. The researchers that are handling this entire project said that the plastic levels in tea were thousands of times higher than what's been found in other foods.
Quick pause. I put this pause towards the middle of the video for my real viewers. If you're still watching, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please let me know what else you guys would like to see on this channel, other type of content, other types of topics, because I'm all ears. That was it. Let's get into it.
Wake up, Tel Aviv! The Iron Dome is not what you need. We're at day 18 and the missiles keep getting through. You would think that the Iron Dome just sitting here in the sky would at least try to hit something. That was actually a missile. That was actually a missile. That's right, because the Iron Dome is not even in the sky as much anymore. And I didn't even bring up the facts that rockets are coming out of Lebanon like every 20 minutes. Yet again, no interceptors. And these are missiles and flashes in the heart of Tel Aviv City. But don't worry, guys, everything is going great in Tel Aviv. I'm sure the air defenses in Saudi Arabia... Oh yeah, that's the biggest oil refinery in the capital. Well, Qatar has the biggest American Air Force base, and it's on fire. Oh, and rockets are somehow reaching the Israelis in Gaza. That's a new one. Everything is doing so good, even the aircraft carrier is getting the hell out of the Middle East. Oh yeah, Bahrain's on fire. The Strait of Hormuz is still shut. Rockets are reaching Gaza. Oil refineries everywhere are destroyed. This is not going very well for the Israelis. Follow me for more.
This is why it is so shocking that Iran hit a $100 million F-35, one of the most advanced fighter jets on Earth. These planes are geometrically designed to be incredibly hard to detect on radar. That's why they're called stealth aircraft. Their shape actually scatters the radar signals instead of sending them straight back to the receiver, which makes it really hard for radar to see them. And they're made of radar absorbing material that turns the radar energy into heat, which is so cool, instead of just reflecting it back. That's because their weapons are stored on the inside of the aircraft. There's no external objects creating extra radar reflections, unlike older aircraft. Plus, they can jam enemy radar. They can also detect where radar signals are near them so they can avoid them. They're just so high tech. So even with the most advanced radar systems, F-35s are usually only detected as a faint, unclear signal, not like a precise targetable location. So that brings us to today, 3 weeks into the war, and Trump has said Iran is totally defeated militarily and that the U.S. has destroyed 100% of Iran's military capability. If that's true, then how did Iran manage to hit one of the most advanced fighter jets on Earth? Because that does not sound like they are totally defeated. Luckily, in this case, the pilot made an emergency landing and is safe, but the aircraft itself sustained some damage. We here at News Girls will be following this and all the other updates coming out of Iran, so follow to...
People are not actually mentally prepared for the darkest things that happen in history, so let's test your mental strength. We are going to be talking about Russia's one and only cannibal island, Nazino Island. In the summer of 1933, Stalin wanted to get rid of all the, undesirable people, so he took 3,000 people off the streets, most of them city dwellers, so they didn't know how to survive out there in the woods. He took these thousands of people, dropped them on Nazino Island with no food, no water, nothing. He put armed guards around the waters to make sure that they didn't escape, and if they did try, they would be pew-pewed. Eventually, the weather got really bad, like rain, sleet, snow, just unsurvivable temperatures. Stalin, out of the kindness of his heart, right? He sent in old, moldy, dry rye flour that they would just put in bags, like by the river, and let the people fight over. The unlucky souls on Nazino Island would take this flour, put it in the water, and try to eat it, because if they were to try to eat it dry, it would literally suffocate them. When that wasn't enough, eventually the strongest started to hunt the week, and rumors spread that people were eating other people on Nazino Island. It only lasted, like the experiment, it was quite literally an experiment, only lasted 13 weeks because of how bad it was. And when they got to Nazino Island to evacuate people, what they saw was otherworldly. I'm talking limbs hanging from trees. I'm talking bones with the flesh ripped off of them. There was a lady that got transported off the island and she had chomps out of her calves. She was like, they attempted to eat her alive. Absolutely horrendous. But yeah, y'all, that is Russia's Cannibal Island. Nobody ever talks about it for some freaking reason.
Cannibal
So I had to
Island?
make a video on it naturally.
That's
If you like
crazy.
to hyperfixate on random things, you have met your people. So
Oh
make
my
sure you like and
God.
follow, comment down below if y'all knew about this. Thinking in the next episode, we talk about Scott.
Trump is planning to replace TSA agents with ICE agents. He says this will occur tomorrow, Monday, if funding for the Department of Homeland Security isn't reached. If you're unaware, this partial government shutdown thing has left TSA officers without pay for over a month, which means that TSA lines have been insane. And Trump said, quote, ICE will do the job far better than ever done before. I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow.
If you're a young parent, this is incredibly serious, as there's a massive nationwide warning for a specific type of children's medicine that you definitely need to know about. So the company responsible is called Strides Pharma, based out of India, but they distribute it all over the United States. It's directed for children ages 2 through 11 to be able to reduce pain as well as fever. And what they found inside of these bottles is crazy, saying that the bottles contained a gel-like mass and black particles in the liquid. Just don't forget about this packaging here, because this is the exact product that is being pulled from the shelves everywhere right now. Make sure you're sending this to anyone that has small children as well, because this comes in a only 4 fluid ounce bottle, and these are the lot numbers as well as the expiration date. A lot of people may not even know this is happening, but the fact that the expiration date is January 31st of 2027 means that they need to find out before they end up using the bottle on their child. The company has also failed to be able to specify exactly how this black gel-like substance as well as particles ended up in these bottles, but they're not answering any of the questions that people are asking them. I keep you guys updated about the most important things happening in the news, especially when it can be something this serious, so be sure to add me and come back tomorrow.
These fishermen off the coast of Long Island were in for a treat and a hoot and a holler when they were catching that tuna. You can see there, they said it's the biggest tuna they've ever caught, so they were thrilled. And then the great night shark, you can see, goes after it and jumps right into the boat. Great night sharks are known to jump, especially when they're attacking their prey. They can go about 20 yards up into the air, and so jumping onto this boat was no problem for this little fella. You can see they're quite scared, but they said when it finally calmed down, they were like, this is super cool, and they cared what was happening. They didn't want the great night shark to die of fatality death, so they said they bear hugged it as tightly as they could and slowly lifted it and got it back over the railing into the water. One of the guys there, Chuck Stunton, said that one of the toothages nicked him, and so it did cut him. He said he had to get 4 stitches, but it will leave a scar that he can tell a story about for a lifetime, is what he said. And so, you know, the ocean is full of surprises, but I bet most of us will never have a great night shark jump onto our boats.
Sometimes people think if their closet door opens slightly at night, it's just air pressure or the house settling. That's the mistake. If you're in your bedroom late at night and notice your closet door slowly opening on its own, do not walk over close to it immediately. Stay where you are and watch it first, because doors sometimes move, but they don't usually stop halfway. First, watch the gap. If the door opens just enough for the darkness inside the closet to be visible, but never swings fully open, do not step close to it to push it shut. Most people close it out of habit. That's when they realize something strange. Second, listen to the door. If you hear a soft shift coming from the inside the closet, but none of the hanging clothes move, do not crawl out. People who ignored this rule all said the same thing later. The sound didn't come from the clothes. It came from the floor behind them. Third, turn off your bedroom light. Do not stand facing the closet. If your closet door suddenly opens wider, the moment the room goes dark, do not look back. Because when the closet door opens at night, there's usually a reason. Something bumped them, air moved them. But if the door opens slowly and stops halfway, like something inside is holding it there, it usually means something in the closet is waiting to see if you'll come closer.
Is Palm Beach Pete secretly Jeffrey Epstein? Let's find out. So for one, this guy by the name of Palm Beach Pete is just mysteriously coming out of nowhere and looking identical to Jeffrey Epstein. Somebody took this video of him driving down the freeway and it looked exactly like Epstein. People thought it was AI. And then the person stepped forward and claimed that no, he's actually Palm Beach Pete, not Epstein. And at first everyone believed him, but then he came out in an interview with TMZ and said he used to party with Epstein. And in the interview, he kind of showed his teeth, right? And if you look at the pattern of his teeth, now if you compare his teeth to the teeth of a photo that was found in the Epstein file, they are identical. And this has not been edited. You can find both of these photos elsewhere. So, I mean, come on, people. You can't change the teeth. What are the odds their teeth are perfectly throwing up gang signs the same way? And I mean, you know, Epstein was already old a long time ago. This is how he looked. That was like his mugshot. So he was already aging. Now imagine no Botox, no facial reconstruction. Take a few years, you got Palm Beach Pete, man. People are saying they're both Jewish. They sound the same. They look the same. They're from the same part of Palm Beach. They attended the same parties, likely to be around the same age. If it looks like a duck and it acts like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably Epstein or Palm Beach Pete. But I mean, like, if this man is still alive, this would be the ultimate form of gaslighting, to literally make us question our sanity and just do a victory lap and smile in our faces. But yeah, is Palm Beach Pete Jeffrey Epstein? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. My name is AT. I cover news on the internet. I just got banned at 5.7 million followers because they're trying to silence me. So please follow so I get back up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. But if you're not fooling anyone,
That video was taken moments after this woman in the video allegedly discovered a truck full of children's corpses. So according to the story, this woman worked as a truck inspector in Mexico. And one day while she was performing her duties, a truck driver pulled in. She noticed he was acting tense and visibly nervous. And when she approached the truck, she noticed the back door was open. And when she inspected the interior of the truck, she was disturbed. She claims she saw hundreds of children's bodies, all stacked on top of each other in a massive pile. She claimed that there was blood soaked into the floor, and she even saw garbage bags lying around the sides filled with children's limbs, arms, legs, and even heads. She then stumbled to the side, started telling people what she had seen, and thus this infamous video clip was born. Now, this was first posted on Facebook back in 2019, but curiously, there's been no update on what happened here. In fact, just trying to find any information about this video or incident is nearly impossible on the internet. You can see here I tried my hardest to find info and it just wouldn't pull anything up. There have been similar incidents though where trucks have been stopped and inspected and people's bodies were found in the back. This has happened multiple times actually. I saw people online claiming that this woman was found dead just a day or two after this video went viral, but I couldn't find any official confirmation of that happening. It wouldn't surprise me though, because as you probably know, whistleblowers who try to save children usually end up dying in mysterious ways. But this is a really disturbing problem. I actually interviewed someone a few weeks ago who told me that when he was investigating sex crimes against children in Mexico, he was told about a black market in the city of Juarez where people could just walk up and buy children in broad daylight. He also told me of cases that he'd either worked on or been informed about where parents had literally sold their children to traffickers because they couldn't pay the rent, they couldn't pay for food. So a truck being discovered full of children's bodies doesn't necessarily surprise me, and it isn't out of the realm of possibility. What is interesting, though, is the concept that these children had been butchered or carved up, because that is a known thing that is happening today. In today's world, this is not a conspiracy. Organ harvesting and organ trafficking, especially on the black market. I mean, that's a concept that's well known. There's even videos on YouTube of organ traffickers being interviewed by people like National Geographic. And I actually just did a video last month where I interviewed a guy who's been convicted of murder. It's a whole thing. But he took us to a castle in France, showed us a lot of occult symbolism that's within the castle wall, and discussed with us how he knows through insider information that there are rituals and sacrifices being performed at this castle where the blood of children and innocents is being harvested and then used in some form of magical or...
A new FBI report from the Epstein files has revealed that huge amounts of paperwork were shredded just 6 days after Epstein's 2019 death at MCC in New York.
What a surprise. People are hiding
I'm going to read the
Wow.
crisis intake document from the FBI that comes directly from the Epstein files to you. So you're not just reading sensationalized news reports, but the actual document. There's a lot of redactions. I know it's annoying. Bear with me. Redacted is a federal corrections officer reporting misconduct. He works in MCC, New York, Federal Bureau of Prisons. CEO has never seen this amount of bags of shredded documents coming out to be put in the dumpster at the rear gate of the MCC. Last week, Epstein hung himself, and there is an ongoing investigation. There was a BOP after actions team that come, and they are supposed to review what happened. Redacted. There was an inmate named Inmate. He is a redacted worker. Another inmate who works back there who helped the other inmate, I'm guessing, is redacted from the same unit. He helped Redacted throw the bags of shredded documents into the dumpster. Redacted was bringing back bags of shredded papers, around 4 or 5 bags, and Caller brought them into the gate to throw into the dumpster. Redacted told Caller that the after action team is shredding huge amounts of paperwork. Caller found it suspicious that an after action team charged with investigating would be shredding huge amounts of paperwork with all of the officials from AIG, FBI, and BO in the building in the middle of an investigation. Those giving instructions to Redacted said, make sure you get that box too. The next day, today, Friday, August 16th, same inmate, Redacted, brought another bag of shredded materials, and Redacted said they had him helping to shred the material. Today he reported that he has to do it because he doesn't want to get in trouble if he refuses. He said they were very nice to him, but they wouldn't let him leave the area. The dumpster containing all of these shredded documents gets picked up Monday. Redacted reports that if anyone cares about what was shredded, it needs picked up before Monday by 8 a.m. Redacted stated that one of the staff employees said, "This isn't the first time I've had to do things like this." Thursday was the first report of shredding by Redacted. Redacted reiterated that inmate witnessed the shredding, not Redacted. So this is definitely problematic, to say the least. We don't have a reason for them doing this. We just have the document saying...
Did you hear about the ship boat that's been missing for 217 years to be exact? And it was just found last week off the southern coast of Antarctica, and you are not going to believe what they found on board the ship. You can see it's almost perfectly intact. It does have a little bit of rustage there on the front, but it is baffling the scientific experts and the historical experts of how it got there, because it took off from England with mainly Scottish and Irishmen on board, and it was just supposed to go to the Africa. They were going to trade some spices and some woods, and then it just disappeared. So now they're like, how did it make it all the way to Antarctica and get stuck in the ice like this? Well, the reason why they found it is because there was a cruise ship that was a few miles away, and a guy named Jim Tenery had his binoculars on him. His wife was like, "Don't bring your binoculars," but he's like, "I feel like I should bring them," and he had them. He saw it. They called it into the Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard went and confirmed that it's the Europa, the ship that's been missing. When they went on board, they expected to see a bunch of skeleti, like human skeleti, just scattered all over.
Is that the term
But what they
for
found is it changes a lot that we know about everything, and I'll post that in part 2.
So was there a Bigfoot warning? Yes, a Bigfoot warning prior to that 17,000-pound meteor traveling at a speed of over 45,000 pounds that struck eastern Ohio have anything to do with each other? And why do I ask that question? Because according to the map behind me, they had 5 different Bigfoot sightings roaming all over Ohio 5 days before the meteor hit by at least 10 different people. And each one of the accounts by the different individuals all sounded the same. They all claim to have seen something similar to what's in the photo above. Over 10 feet tall, furry, leaving gigantic footprints everywhere. And once again, we all use the term allegedly because there has been no proof at all of this, but it has been all over the news. I will step out of the way so you can pause and read this for yourself. Now keep this in the back of your mind. All of these alleged sightings all took place prior to the meteor hitting Ohio. To put a little more perspective on this story, this has been, according to record, the most sightings of Bigfoot in any area at any given time. So I guess my question to you is, if these alleged allegations of Bigfoot sightings are real, was there more than one Bigfoot? And if there was, where were they all going? Were they trying to get away from the meteor that was coming? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And if you live in Ohio, give me your perspective on this. And as always, I'd love to hear.
Bigfoot and meteors? Bigfoot was sighted before this happened? That's actually crazy. What are the odds of that? This is either connected or just a huge coincidence. What do you guys think?
Finding Nemo isn't actually about finding Nemo. What if it's about grief? The theory says that Finding Nemo follows the 5 stages of grief, and Marlin goes through every single one. Remember when he was chasing the boat screaming, "No, no, no," into the empty water? And anger? Remember when he snaps at Dory? Bargaining? Every desperate plea to the ocean to give his son back? Despair? Remember when he gave up and he just decided to go home alone? And acceptance? When he was finally ready to let go. Now here's where it gets darker. What if Nemo isn't physically there at all? What if he represents Marlin's subconscious and Dory is his wandering mind guiding him through his trauma? So who is this journey really about? Pixar didn't say it was intentional, but the layers are there. Is it just a kid's movie or a story about learning to survive loss?
On Friday, a 19-year-old pilot in Florida had an engine failure while flying at less than 1,000 feet, forcing him to land on a busy road. And it was a glorious landing. On March 6th, 19-year-old Nico Bray departed Tailwinds Airport in Martin County, Florida for a local flight over northern Palm Beach. And roughly 13 minutes into this flight, the aircraft's engine suddenly began losing power. When this happened, it appears that he was only flying at 600 feet, so he couldn't make it to any nearby airports. He searched for somewhere to land and lined up with Indiantown Road in Jupiter, one of the busiest roads in the area, and at around 2:30 p.m., the small plane descended and touched down in the westbound lanes. As you can see, it was beautiful to say the least. He didn't contact any cars, no one on the ground was injured, and him and his passenger were completely fine as well.
I'm tempted to read out. I can't do it now.
Does that sound like a
That's a little girl?
Yes. The Enfield poltergeist. This specific case is filled with many controversy revolving around like
if it's real
or not. And then also it had a lot of actual witnesses like the
possible?
cops, neighbors saying they witnessed Janet, like the little girl, levitate. They saw furniture move by itself. And there's interviews of Maurice interviewing Janet, which was the scene that you saw in the movie whenever she's like sitting on the couch and then she starts getting possessed and starts speaking like in a different voice. So he captures Janet get possessed during an interview. And mind you, she's only 11 years old. So the voice that's coming out of her
doesn't match her at all.
Come on, my name's Morris. Let me hear you say it. Morris. Say Dr. Belloc. Come on, let me hear you say that. Come on, let's hear you say Dr. Belloc. Could you close that door down? Say Dr. Belloc. Come on. Come on, say it for me, Dr. Belloc. Dr. Belloc.
that's supposed to be her or Bill.
I'm tempted to read out. I can't do it now.
Does that sound like a
That's a little girl?
Yes.
At Friday Church with Rena. You.
Bro, there's no way that's a little girl. What the? Another thing, I don't understand why. So you're telling me the parents were like, okay, listen, you're gonna have to act like this, you're gonna have to act like this, you're gonna have to...
Lyme's disease is not natural. It's man-made, and particularly government-made. And it's a biological weapon. In 1969, we were in the Cold War, and our government decided to just run experiments on its own people. And they decided to release hundreds of thousands of ticks that were dipped in a radioactive isotope. So it created this bacteria in the ticks. You can go look this up for yourself because the news won't report on this. Anyways, this is my driver. And I think the news should be a little bit separate from the state. Maybe that could solve a lot for us. We like to be in the know. I don't want to be the only one who's sharing what's in the know. It's a little stressful, honestly.
Disgusting facts about history that will make you actually want to vomit. This gets kind of gruesome towards the end, so please, trigger warning. You'll never believe what was happening under Anne Boleyn's dress in her coronation. Apparently, there were two ladies in waiting under her dress as she's being coronated, catching her feces to be sold overseas. Medieval times will never cease to, make me want to vomit. They apparently would buy feces from overseas, brush their teeth with it. You know, the Palace of Versailles, there were over 36,000 people living in there, but there were under 100 toilets. So they would there would literally be women on the side of the road just relieving themselves. Often they didn't wear underwear for this reason. And it smelled of such poop. Mind you, they're pooping on the floors of the Versailles Palace, outside the palace. They are also brushing their teeth with feces, human feces. It just became too much. The queen decided to shut down the toilets. When this happened, people pooped even more outside, and it ended up having to be a thing where everyone took their poop and threw it over the wall, creating like a moat outside the gate, which actually their enemies, when war came, ended up using that moat of feces to climb over the wall and penetrate the city. Anyway, yeah, that was a very, very common thing. It wasn't just the royals, the Tudors. It was also the common people. They would throw their poop out of windows as well. We covered in another episode how they had mummy eating parties. They would eat mummies. They would search for them, excavate the tombs, and eat like imagine some random people coming in from out of town and digging up your pop and deciding, you know what, I'm gonna take pop to where I live so I can eat him. So I can unwrap him and eat him and use him for medicinal purposes and practically worship the mummies. There are so many things. It's just too much. And speaking of Anne Boleyn, I learned so much about her death that is actually traumatizing. Did y'all know that it took 4 blows for Anne Boleyn's head to come completely off when she was decapitated? And it's said that the king saw her crawling and ordered yet another one. I don't know if that was the 4th or 3rd. I don't know. And what's so sad is one of the very last things that Anne Boleyn did was order a gown for her daughter to make sure that she was warm in the winter. That whole story is so heartbreaking. I'd have to do a video on it. As always, make sure you like and follow. Comment down below what you think.
The mayor of Louisiana SA'd a drunk 16-year-old boy. Former mayor of DeRidder, Louisiana, 43-year-old Mitzi Roberts, stocked her fridge with alcohol for her 16-year-old son's birthday party. Mitzi's son's 16-year-old friend was sitting by the pool extremely drunk. This is when Mitzi went up to him in her bikini and started flirting with him. Then she started heavily making out with him. Mitzi also took some inappropriate photos with this boy and then took him into the house and upstairs. Mitzi proceeded to tell this 16-year-old boy that he knew what he was doing, and then started taking all of her clothes off. Mitzi then SA'd this boy. The victim said that he doesn't remember much because he was heavily intoxicated. He said that his head was spinning and his eyes were closed the entire time. Mitzi's son was incredibly mad at his mom and even filmed Mitzi SA'ing his friend through the window on his phone. Mitzi told her son to be mad at his friend instead of her because he was the one who came on to her, which isn't even true, but even if it was, Mitzi is 43 and he is 16. Mitzi is clearly the adult in this situation. Mitzi's younger daughter was also crying at the birthday party, asking people to make Mitzi and the victim stop doing what they were doing in the bedroom. Mitzi also DoorDashed a Plan B pill to her house the very next day. Mitzi has not been sentenced yet, but faces up to 17 years in prison, which I honestly do not think is enough, but what do you guys think about this?
Did you hear that the world's top scientists found the center of the Earth, and it's in Armenia? And I'm not talking about the core of the Earth, of the sphere, but the center of the crustage that goes around the entire Earth. And they said on this exact spot in Armenia is where all the magnet poles, waves, all collide and join into one. And what they were super shocked, but they said not surprised, is that there's a water feature here, and they said the water content is full of iron, and that's a magnetism attractor. And so they said as the magnet poles collide, it shoots the water up. This puppy, they say, can go up to 1 mile up in the sky, is the record that they've seen it had. And what's crazy is no one's ever known about it. The local residents in the area said that they've never heard about it. One guy that lives in the area, Ardon, said, hey, I've seen it, but my family had a story passed down from generation that they thought that the Armenian god Targan poked a hole in the earth in ancient times, and that's what causes the water to shoot up. But I think it's really cool, and I want to visit it. I'm curious if you'll put this on your tourister list.
Is all of this planned in advance, long in advance? Like, I'm talking decades ago. You may be thinking, what are you talking about? This is the scene from the Atlanta airport this morning. of a 4-hour wait to get into the freaking security line because the TSA, right now, it's a partial government shutdown. So none of them really are getting paid. And so what's happening now, though, is you saw the movie Leave the World Behind, right? The planes are falling out of the sky. What if that was like an allegory for air travel being no longer a thing? Because while here, there's these massive waits, there's massive delays, 6-hour delays of planes not being able to fly on a clear sunny day because of just all these different problems. The question is, on the other side of the world, there's all these cancellations, but it's due to fuel. It's like the perfect storm happening right now. And if we know anything about the little bit of a plan they might have for 2030, it involves, let's just say, there being less air travel. You know that the airlines, too, they're all losing a ton of money over all this. And apparently their margins are already pretty slim because they weren't hedging fuel costs. So as the fuel cost goes up and these insane delays happen, like all these companies might go freaking bankrupt. Now, if we can just release Nikola Tesla's technology, we wouldn't be in this problem at all. But it seems that there might be a bit of a plan going on. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more. Now, I can say it's likely getting weirder. It's going to continue getting weirder, as who was the guy who said it's going to get weirder and weirder, and then all of a sudden people are going to go, what the Sam Damn's going on? I think it's of utmost importance in human history right now to be of sound mind and sound body. Detox, fertility, brain function, energy. Right now, Chalk is giving away free $100 bags of the organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, the chocolate powder, which is super detoxing and delicious. And if you combine that with the hot water purified shilajit, you're getting some of the most potent adaptogenic superfoods in the natural world. Comment free below and check your DMs.
Whoa, the OnlyFans owner passed away today. He was only 43 years old. He died from cancer. So they announced, we are deeply saddened to announce the death of Leo Radvinsky. Leo passed away peacefully after a long battle with cancer. His family has requested privacy at this difficult time. As of October 2025, his net worth was $7.8 billion. So that's just saying, like, you can have all the money in the world, but if you're sick, it doesn't matter. Thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. He really changed the entire industry.
Quick pause. If you're still watching, it means you're enjoying this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe while you're still here. That was it. Let's get back into it.
Have you ever heard about the Tygon well? This is it right here, and these are its babies. It has over 100,000 babies, and it carries them in its mouth to safely protect them. And other fish species do that, but no species of whale. They said about only 2 of these guys will survive to 1 year old, and so the fatality death rate is quite high, but it's quite cute that you can see that they're going inside mother's mouth just to get the protection, and I think we all want that sometimes.
Can the government actually use frequency to read your mind?
Hey everybody, so I have finally received like direct confirmation through the Epstein files that there are organizations that use ELF waves or extra low frequency waves and radio waves and microwave technology to neurally monitor people. Like, there is technology in existence. You want to talk about conspiracy theories? It's no longer a conspiracy. There is technology in existence today and in use today that can read your mind through long distance radio wave technology. The people that are victims to this, they're called targeted individuals. And they target children, not just adults. They can sexually stimulate your body by exploiting your nervous system. And they can do this using like the 5G radio towers. I don't know if you guys have like heard the conspiracies and stuff like that from like way back, how like 5Gs would be abused. But if you're wondering why you're not mad enough, my theory is that it's from these 5G towers that they can alter your psychological chemistry, like your nervous system's chemistry, to prevent you from getting angry, to prevent you from feeling happy. They can make you feel sad, and they can also make you feel sexually stimulated. It can come from your TV, it can come from your Wi-Fi router, your cell phone, everything. But now we have direct proof. I'm going to put the Epstein number in the caption below. But what I'm doing is I'm getting parts this Saturday, and attempts to build like a radio that should capture and parrot the signals that people get bombarded with, because that way the courts can take us seriously. But now we have direct proof that these weapons are in use.
There are so many pictures in the Epstein files that deserve to be investigated, and really a picture is worth 1,000 words. This is one image out of at least 100 that I found in just one document, one file within the 3 million plus Epstein files. And it's disturbing to me.
This appears to be two victims, two survivors of Epstein's, doing some shopping for what looks to be a whip, toys, costumes, and we don't know how old these victims slash survivors were when this picture was taken, and we also don't know who was taking this picture. But right next to the image in this photo set is a picture of, once again, what I'm assuming is a survivor slash victim, and this young man. I don't know who this guy is, so if you guys could identify him for me. I tried doing some reverse image searching on him. I couldn't find anything. That would be very much appreciated. But Epstein was overtly sexual. In the same photo set, there are pictures of what people online are calling a titty cake that was served to Epstein, which goes to show that even simple things like baked goods in Epstein's life were turned sexual. And that's because the people around Epstein knew that he was a sexual guy. It was impossible to not know that just looking at the pictures of his properties, of his baked goods, of his days out shopping. So for people to sit there and say that they had no idea that Epstein was ever even potentially doing something like what he's been accused of doing, that is just a flat out lie. Just look at the pictures of his properties, look at his daily life, and tell me that if you weren't surrounded by this stuff, you wouldn't suspect that your friend was into something.
Justin and Hailey Bieber would look like this without the fame and wealth. This is AI generated, so let's go through more celebrities. I'm gonna give this one like a 6 out of 10. I feel like Hailey's may look a little bit accurate, but that doesn't even look like Justin. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, why is this so accurate? It's a 10 out of 10. Like this 100%, if he didn't do football and he wasn't physically active, I could see him looking like this. And Taylor, country girl, I see it for her. Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner, why did they do them like this? No, this gets a 2 out of 10 because Timothy, I think Timothy would look the same whether he was famous or not. Kylie Jenner, I don't think she would ever look like that. This is maybe even a negative 2 out of 10. Kim and Kanye, I can see this. This is like a 7 out of 10. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, this gets like a 10 out of 10. I can definitely see if they were not rich and famous, no Botox, nothing, they could probably look like this. It's pretty accurate. A$AP Rocky and Rihanna, they basically look the same. They're both still beautiful, so 10 out of 10. Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder still looks good in this, so I'm gonna give her like a 9 out of 10. Johnny Depp, if he lets himself go, like if he was never a movie star, maybe. So maybe I'll give it like an 8.5 out of 10. Chrissy Teigen's looking like a librarian in this, and John Legend actually looks the same. I think this is pretty accurate. 9.2 out of 10. Beyonce and Jay-Z, they actually look pretty much the same as they do now. Jay-Z looks tired in this. He looks like he's been working hard. He looks like a tired dad. Beyonce looks like maybe she's a school teacher. I'm gonna give this like a 9 out of 10. I'm sorry, just this one is sending me because it is so inaccurate.
Have you heard about the snake rains that happen in Indonesia about this time of the year, usually late March, early April? And what happens is the monsoon vortexers usually goes over the Indonesia, and it has a ton of snakes there. And so it picks them up. They spin around, they said, for a few days, and then it drops them all when it dies down, and the weight of the snake is unbearable to the weather. And so you can see them dropping down. A lot of them die of fatality deaths when they hit the ground, but some of them live, and they believe the ones that live are blessed of the gods. It's been an ancient tradition that they've had forever. So they gather up the ones who have lived, and they make sure that they stay fed, and they reintroduce them to the wildernesses. And so I don't know, this would make me want to move because I wouldn't want snakes falling down on me, but I'm curious what you think.
Palm Beach Pete is not Jeffrey Epstein. Here's all the proof we have so far. Now, this all starts when somebody recorded a video of someone that looked just like Jeffrey Epstein driving down the freeway in Florida. But then the person came out and said, hey, I'm not Jeffrey Epstein, I'm just Palm Beach Pete. And you know, the more we looked at him, we were kind of like, you're not fooling anyone, Jeff. Especially when we compared the teeth. I was thinking they look identical because, I mean, look at the way that they bend. He could have had some teeth, surgery, but everyone's saying that the teeth are actually not identical. I don't know, man. You gotta admit, those are pretty close, but let's go ahead and say that the teeth are not identical, okay? Let's say these are different teeth, but they are pretty similar, I'm just saying. I mean, there are other angles when you look at the guy and you're like, okay, maybe he's not Jeffrey, He does kind of look like a different person. Now, the weird thing at first is you couldn't really find anything on this guy anywhere before, a week ago. And what's interesting enough is when you search Palm Beach Pete, there's a whole nother Palm Beach Pete that pops up. And if you look at the comments, people are recently already making insinuations because he hasn't uploaded in 10 years since 2016. But this is when things get weird. So there's this Palm Beach Pete that I found, but then there's also this Palm Beach Pete. Now, I don't know if this is just him younger, but I mean, is that even the same person? Is that the same Palm Beach Pete? I don't know, man. How many Palm Beach Petes are there? Because then we got Epstein Pete, or Palm Beach Epstein Pete. And then we got like younger, refined Russian spy looking Palm Beach Pete. And then we got old man Palm Beach Pete. So who's the real Palm Beach Pete? And I did a deep dive on the first Palm Beach Pete, and his name is Peter Simmel. I found some Getty images of him from back in the day. So you can see, you know, he's been around for a while. He does have a history, and he doesn't look like Epstein, although that looks like a Rockefeller, whoever that is. And I will peep, this man's been getting to the money. Look at the wrist. AP on the wrist. I also was like, notice his shirt said Island, Stone Island. I was thinking like something about Island, but it turns out this is just a brand, and it's like actually super expensive. So bruh's been touching the cheddar, and it is written that he was like in real estate and stuff in like 2011, Peter Simmel. So if that's the same guy, then we might have his origins figured out, and we can safely say that he is not Jeffrey Epstein. But conspiracy theorists will talk, and a lot of these crazy conspiracies ended up being true. So what do you think? Who's Palm Beach Pete? Is it Epstein in disguise? And what happened to the other Palm Beach Pete? And the other Palm Beach Pete? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. My name is AT. I cover news on the internet. I just got banned at 5.7 million followers because they're trying to silence me. So please like and follow so I can get back up, and I'll see y'all in the next video. But this is crazy.
This is a lot to take in, but I need to know what you guys are thinking. The picture of him younger looks nothing like him, but there's a lot of connections between him and you know who. Is that him? Or is it just a huge coincidence, a doppelganger, if you will? Because that could be a possibility, but let's be realistic here. Everything lines up, the locations, the voice, the nose, the teeth, the eyes, everything. What do you guys think?
Meteor just crashed through a woman's house in Houston. NASA has officially confirmed that a 3-foot wide space rock weighing about a ton came ripping into the atmosphere over Texas at 35,000 miles per hour. The explosion itself released the energy of 26 tons of TNT, and people all across Houston heard massive booms and felt their entire houses shaking.
Vibration. It was very like, it was silent, but the house was definitely moving.
But this is where it gets wild, because this woman named Sherry James called the fire department because a chunk of that meteor punched through her roof, through her 2 stories, and landed in her kitchen. She said that her daughter's bedroom did get hit, but luckily nobody was in the room.
We heard a big boom, and when I was in my bedroom, and I didn't know what it was. I said, it's coming out my daughter's room.
But this is the part that most people don't know, because NASA released a debris map showing fragments scattered across 12-mile stretches of North Houston. Neighborhoods like Champion Forest, Cypress Wood, and Cypress Station are all in the zone. Guys, meteorites can literally sell anywhere from $2 a gram to over $1,000 per gram, depending on the type. So now we literally have half of Houston walking out in their yards with magnets trying to find a retirement fund in their yard. And honestly, I can't even blame them. If a meteor randomly landed in your yard, are you calling NASA or are you calling a dealer? Scientists just filmed one of the rarest creatures on the entire planet, which is a giant phantom jellyfish, by the way, and it's only been seen 118 times in over a century. This is literally insane. Earlier this month, researchers exploring a submarine canyon off of Argentina sent down a remote-operated vehicle about 253 meters deep. They actually captured footage of a giant phantom jellyfish, and it looks like it's straight out of an alien movie. In 110 years of deep sea exploration, this species has only been spotted about 118 times. That's not even the craziest part, by the way, because the jellyfish is massive. Its main body is over 3 feet across. And of course, why would it just be a regular jellyfish? Because it's in the deep ocean. They're saying that it has 4 ribbon-like arms that can stretch up to 33 feet long each. That's longer than a school bus. And they're saying that unlike most jellyfish, it doesn't have stinging tentacles. Instead, it wraps the giant arms around fish and plankton like a living net. We have an alien world basically living underneath our ocean. Scientists actually believe that these things are all over the planet. We just can't see them because we can't get down there. Dude, can we please explore the ocean?
I've never been more convinced that mermaids are real after watching this video.
This is a hagstone. They say
These
that
are
when you find
real
a stone
stones,
with a
y'all.
naturally made hole in it from the ocean, that you can look through it and see the mermaids and the fairies on the other side.
Perfectly cut
There is magic
circle.
all around us.
Watch this, y'all. Are those mermaids jumping off that beach? Oh, I can't even
Tell me this
explain that
doesn't
one.
look like there was a mermaid sleeping here. Like, look at that.
Definitely
Did I just find a
mermaid-like
mermaid
tail, for
imprint?
sure.
I had to have, right? Tell me there wasn't a mermaid right here.
Wait, is that a little fairy house?
¿Cómo se llama? Buenas. Hola. Bueno, thanks to the-
That's definitely a little fairy house.
most obvious fade trap I have ever seen. I'm gonna go touch it.
Be careful. Stay weird.
This video is flooding the internet right now because apparently this man came in contact with a siren and started trying to like go into the water to live there. And as you can hear him screaming, "Where are you? Where are you?" in the video, he genuinely like tried to go in the ocean and unalive himself. Well, he wasn't trying to unalive himself. He was just about to drown himself trying to go there. This was eerily similar to that creator, Ashley Inc., I think her name is. She did a video about one of her followers that gave an anonymous story where he ended up learning from his dad that was in the Navy. He had seen a siren and they had caught one when he went on some kind of like illegal expedition, apart from the Navy that is, but he was just trying to put food in his family's mouths. And he spoke of them having to wear these earmuffs so that they can't hear the singing. He didn't believe it until he actually saw the siren, but there were guys that would kind of had their earmuffs off of their ear and they would be trying to jump off the ship and have to be held by the other ones, and other people were vomiting and throwing up. Absolutely insane stories. I'd have to do a longer video on it. Let me know in the comments if you want me to. I'll put it on my YouTube. But yeah, y'all, do you guys think that this video was real or fake?
A new FBI report from the Epstein files has revealed that huge amounts of paperwork were shredded just 6 days after Epstein's 2019 death at MCC in New York. I'm going to read the crisis intake document from the FBI that comes directly from the Epstein files to you, so you're not just reading sensationalized news reports, but the actual document. There's a lot of redactions. I know it's annoying. Bear with me. Redacted is a federal corrections officer reporting misconduct. He works in MCC, New York, Federal Bureau of Prisons. CEO has never seen this amount of bags of shredded documents coming out to be put in the dumpster at the rear gate of the MCC. Last week, Epstein hung himself, and there is an ongoing investigation. There was a BOP after actions team that come, and they are supposed to review what happened. Redacted. There was an inmate named Inmate. He is a redacted worker. Another inmate who works back there who helped the other inmate, I'm guessing, is redacted from the same unit. He helped Redacted throw the bags of shredded documents into the dumpster. Redacted was bringing back bags of shredded papers, around 4 or 5 bags, and Caller brought them into the gate to throw into the dumpster. Redacted told Caller that the after action team is shredding huge amounts of paperwork. Caller found it suspicious that an after action team charged with investigating would be shredding huge amounts of paperwork with all of the officials from AIG, FBI, and BO in the building in the middle of an investigation. Those giving instructions to Redacted said, "Make sure you get that box too." The next day, today, Friday, August 16th, same inmate, Redacted, brought another bag of shredded materials, and Redacted said they had him helping to shred the material. Today he reported that he has to do it because he doesn't want to get in trouble if he refuses. He said they were very nice to him, but they wouldn't let him leave the area. The dumpster containing all of these shredded documents gets picked up Monday. Redacted reports that if anyone cares about what was shredded, it needs picked up before Monday by 8 a.m. Redacted stated that one of the staff employees said, "This isn't the first time I've had to do things like this." Thursday was the first report of shredding by Redacted. Redacted reiterated that inmate witnessed the shredding, not Redacted. So this is definitely problematic to say the least. We don't have a reason for them doing this. We just have the document saying